Hello, everyone. I am the Ugly Duckling 1111. Today, I thought I'd try something new. Leaving my comfort zone. Yay! Yay for me. Okay, so I've been getting this knowing, we'll call it, that I have to leave my comfort zone of hiding behind my camera and hiding behind my script and go rebel, because that's who I am. I'm a rebel. Down at my core of who I am like the embodiment of Uranus. I rebel against everything on this planet because everything is backwards. And I'm told I'm backwards, but I think everything is backwards. And I don't think I'm alone in that anymore. So, here I am. This is the Ugly Duckling. And today I wanted to talk about my last video, which was my road to self-hatred. I wanted to talk about how that person who was rejected by society did a lot of rejecting. I wanted to talk about how we are not victims when we awaken. When we are unconscious, we're in a victim mentality. We have to be. It helps us survive. I can tell you, I couldn't go through everything that I went through, awakened now. It was my unconsciousness that helped me survive all of those moments. It was my disassociation. In my last video, when I described my past, the person that I was describing didn't take responsibility for the life that she created. She was a victim of everything that happened to her, of everyone that rejected her and mistreated her. But the conscious me, the awakened me, realized that there are no mistakes, there are no coincidences, and I was not a victim. Every one of those experiences taught me something. Every one of those experiences happened for some reason. Some of them I figured out, and some of them are unknown. But it's not my job to know. It's my job to learn to surrender. Our job to learn to surrender. In my surrender video, it was me figuring out, me awakening to the fact that I can see myself from my past perspective. I can look down and see all these new perspectives that I couldn't see when I was going through it, when I was too close to the situation. But here, now, I can see all these new perspectives. And I know that everything that was happening to me, I was creating with my thoughts, with my projections, with my expectations. I was not a victim. And it was when I realized this in 2023. I had gone through all my awakening processes. I had gone through so much awakening. There are several awakening journeys. But 2023 was a deep inner reflection of no longer being a victim, going back into my past, recovering all the things that everybody did to me, started coming up again. And I got really confused for a while because I would repeatedly say, I've already dealt with this. I've already experienced this. I've already healed this. Why is it coming back? What is left to heal? And when I asked that question, I got my answer. I didn't have to heal what everybody had done to me. I had to heal what I had done to everybody else. I had to take accountability and face all of those same moments over again, but from the other person's perspective. And that was hard. That was not pretty. It was something I didn't want to do, but also something I knew I had to do. I experienced reflections all last year. I mean, I had always been experiencing, but I wasn't conscious of them until last year. I was suddenly conscious of all my relationships in my life and what they were reflecting back at me. And then I had to look at that reflection and realize that that was all me in those experiences. Oh, for example, my youngest, my 8-year-old, he and I have not been getting along very well. He would scream horrible things at me at dinner time. You know, if I told him he had to eat something, for instance, I was making a meal that both my boys are not very fond of, but it has lots of vegetables. It's got protein, it's got all the good things that our body needs. You know, we got in this argument, and the things that this little boy has said to me are so hurtful, so ugly, and so mean. And I would stop him and I would ask him, "Why so mean? I'm not treating you this way. And so I can't understand why you're treating me this way." My teenage self would have been like, "What does this kid think he is? Punch him. Smack him. Throw him in his room with no dinner. Who cares?" The new me is like, "I want peace. Please, for the love of God, give me peace." I actually made that a number one rule in my house, that peace is top priority. That is the number one rule in this house. You disturb the peace, you pay the consequences. We've had enough of these karmic relationships. We're done and over it. But anyway, so my kid's yelling at me about not eating this and calling me names, calling me the worst mother in the world. And I stopped in that moment and I realized that was me. I was looking at myself. I was literally seeing myself from my past. You see, I didn't have to go back in time and try to remember an exact moment when I was rude to my mom. It was staring at me in the face, screaming right back at me all the things that I said to my mom because she made me eat a vegetable I didn't want to eat. All the horrible things I called her, all the horrible things I said to her. I hate my life. My life is so hard. How dare you? You're the worst mom in the world. And I know it because I'm staring at it. It's something we cannot deny. So I reached this point in 2023 when I realized that my relationships have all been reflecting back at me. And the things that I don't like, the things that I find ugly and horrible, I have to take accountability for. How do I do that? You may or may not have heard of this Hawaiian practice. It's called Ho'oponopono, and it means to complete, to put back into balance. The chant goes, "I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you." So as I'm experiencing this and realizing that my child is reflecting back at me exactly what I used to do to my mom, realizing that I was no picnic, just like my boys. I said horrible things to her, things I didn't mean. I treated her like absolute crap over things I thought I understood. But realizing from the mother perspective, I didn't know anything about life, the world, what was good, what wasn't. So I looked at my mom from my son's perspective and I said, "I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you." And I use this so much towards the end of 2023. was like my closing ceremony, going around in my mind every time something was reflected at me that I didn't like looking at, that I didn't like experiencing. I asked myself, what is it that I need to see? What is it that I need to learn from this? Because I can't see it. All I see is pain. All I see is meanness. All I see is rejection, cold-heartedness, snobby, snotty attitudes. In an unexpected moment when I was quiet, I would see something from my past. I would have a flash of something from my past. And then I would recall that moment, and I would try to see myself from the other person's perspective and how they were seeing me. And I literally was like, I was an asshole. Recalling the moment, I'm sorry, acknowledging it. It happened. Taking responsibility for your own actions in those moments. I forgive you. I see them. I acknowledge them. I forgive them. Thank you. Releasing them, releasing that moment, releasing yourself so that you can move on. I love you. To release with love and let it go. That's what Ho'oponopono means. I talked about in my last video the rejection that was done to me. But in those moments, I didn't recall how I rejected others. I rejected people from a hurt place, from an unconscious place, because I couldn't stand to be rejected anymore. And who knows what I did to them? Who knows how I made them feel about themselves? You know, we don't realize the impact that we've had on others' lives. And we won't know until we go back home. After seeing this from other people's perspective, I began to see my past, all those exact same situations I had to go through again. Only this time from my body's perspective. That was so healing and so hard to do. All those times I left my body. All those times I abandoned my body. I disassociated. It was a trauma response. It was how I survived those moments in my life. Realizing that now that I'm conscious, what that means. This consciousness requires that I go back to those moments and consciously enter my body, be there, as I experienced all of those moments that I had abandoned it. It was not easy to look at myself in certain moments of my past because there was a reason I left. There was a reason I didn't stay to experience what was happening. But my body did. This is why it's important, so important, to not disregard your ego, to not kill your ego, to not abandon your body again. When you are conscious, it is important to look at every inch of your body, every cell, and thank it for everything it's done for you, for every moment that it's been there to get you through. It is that animal nature that got you through, that made you survive those horrible moments in your life. It is important to have some compassion. And that is exactly what I did. That is exactly what I had to do. Hold compassion for all of those moments. Apologize, forgive, thank, and love all of those moments. So that was my 2023. I went into hermit mode and I didn't come out until 2024. And this is me coming out. This is a slow movement towards leaving my comfort zone, which is my home. 2024 is all about surrender. being in the moment. I have at least 5 things going on in my head at all times. I project all of my timelines all at once. And I predict what each timeline is going to create. And then I choose whichever timeline I prefer. And I'm constantly doing this. And it's a gift. I didn't realize that I'm constantly doing this. But when I did realize that, I was like, wow. Because I'm never just focused on one thing at a time. I'm focused on 5 or more. So this year, it is my goal to surrender to the now moment. Try it. Try it for yourself. I would love for you to experience how difficult it is to hold your attention on one thing at a time in the present moment without thinking about later, without going into la la land, without thinking about what you need to do at any other point in time or what you did do. Say you're doing the dishes. Put your attention on each dish. Watch how you wipe it. Watch how you flip it over. Everything with intention. And you'll notice how your brain just wants to keep like, hey, look over here. Hey, look over there. Hey, look over here. No, I'm focused on this dish. I'm focused on this moment. This is hard. We want it to be easy. It sounds wonderful, but this is hard, at least for someone like me. If you're used to multitasking and doing several things at one moment, focus is hard. But I have goals. I have goals that I want to reach in 2024. I have things I want to do. And in order to do that, this is what I have to learn. This is what the point of being conscious is. This is what the point of going through an awakening is to reach this moment where you realize that it is this moment that matters the most. What are you doing in that moment? Are you enjoying it? Are you doing something for somebody else? Why? All these questions gotta get answered. Surrender means to be present with the now moment, to take accountability for the past, to be hopeful for the future. I used to see my multitasking as a gift, and it is, but I learned some things. I've never experienced what it's like to focus on one thing at a time. I've only ever known multitasking. I've only ever known to do several things at one moment. And there's this running theme in my life, this running lesson. I see turtles. Turtles signify slow down. And I'll tell you, where I have the hardest time slowing down is on the road. I want to fly. I want to fly so bad. I think my soul is used to flying. And having to go at somebody else's pace in front of me, pure torture for me. And I recognize this pattern in my life. I would get behind somebody who was going extra slow. And I realized that it's when I'm unconscious and I'm not paying attention to what I don't want, that's when the person in front of me goes the fastest. Yes, we look to the future, we say what we want, then we let it go. We don't hang on to it. So what I'm saying is, surrender to being a turtle. That's what I had to do. And then everything picks up speed when I let it go. It is tough. It is a tough lesson. And it is 2024. I thought that I would pull a card to end this video, because tarot is a huge passion of mine, and I receive so many great messages from it. It's helped me heal. It's helped me get through the last 2 years. which have been the hardest healing journeys I've ever been on. It's helped me to release my past and surrender to my new beginning. So with that said, I'll ask the cards what parting messages Spirit would like to leave us with. What parting message for 2024? What parting message? The Well Watcher. Wisdom, power of the divine. It was getting very dark in here, so I had to turn on the light. And I'm going to read from the guidebook. The Well Watcher. Wisdom, power of the divine. The Well Watcher signals the need to go within to contemplate the true source of power in the world, which, he reminds you, it is that of the divine. This is a message to let you know that you are being called to the well, and this unseen power will be there and will be yours to align with. This affirmation and prayer will invite the divine to bring miracles and resolutions to your life. Thy will be done through me from the highest good of all, and for the true manifestations of my purpose. You will know the way forward by the still small voice within. The divine also may answer your call by sending others to help guide you. That's beautiful. And a perfect place to end. So until next time, peace and love.